Good morning, everybody. Um, I think I'm convinced that the modern iteration of the so called church, in many aspects, is going to be the catalyst for many missing heaven. I'm convinced it's not going to be the world. I am fully sold that the one thing that's going to keep people from finding God will be people who call themselves believers. And it's a sad thing to have to come to a realization about. But I'm not saying every body that gathers. I'm talking about the big ones that people know about, the ones that have influence. They're going to be the reason people miss it. Let me fix this real quick. I did not check this. Let me check it now. What you're going to hear is insane. First of all, it's going to be insane for you to hear it. But this individual is not alone in their thinking. I think we kind of touched on it when we tackled the whole black and white Jesus thing. We kind of touched on it a little bit with the wanting to belong so badly just based on what you are at birth without any need for real change, that you find yourself creating something new in order to feel like you're the special one. We refuse to accept the fact that we are nothing before God, that we want to be so unique that we are the one and only thing, more than the next person. And so I'm going to have you listen to this. Trust me, it's cringy, but make sure you listen to what she says. And when we get back, we'll take a deep dive into the nonsense, okay? All right, prep yourself. I'll be right back.
Because it is an unfinished gospel. Oh, I'm not hearing nobody talk to me. It is not that Jewish stuff. Watch this. If I don't partake and respect the fact that the Bible said that we are engrafted into this thing, making us fellow heirs, how long are we going to shout and miss it? Today, we hit the timing. Today, we line up with what is happening in Israel. No, y'all ain't saying nothing. I don't think you understand this. Let me give you some information you don't know. In 1987, the original Jews were the dark-skinned Ethiopians. In 1987, they started a movement called the Moses Movement. And the reason why the movement started was because the dark-skinned Jews decided, we're going home. So they left Ethiopia by the thousands. When Israel knew they were coming, they devised a plan called the Moses Project to usher them in. So now the black Jew and the white Jew is joined together in Israel. And the place where they thought they were going to build the tabernacle belonged to the Arabs, and they found the original spot. You don't hear what I'm saying? You don't hear what I'm saying? Jesus cannot come back, because if he does now, he's coming back for half of a body. I'm not hearing y'all. The Bible said that he died so that both Jew and Gentile would be joined together. If he come back now, he's only coming back for half of a body. He needs the whole body of Christ.
You know, I'm honestly also under the belief that a lot of these people do some drugs. Like they have to be doing some sort of hallucinogen. They must. Look. You can't convince me that these people are sane. One or two, not high. You have to be. You have to be high. You cannot be a functioning human being mentally. You something got to be wrong with y'all head, man. I'm sorry, bro, but mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Unfinished gospel. So you tell me that Christ lied when he said it's finished? It wasn't finished. Huh. You learn something new every day. I mean, I guess you learn something new every day. I didn't know that when he said it's finished, it he meant only partially. And I didn't know that when he mentioned his body, he meant man. I'm pretty sure that his body is complete and we're grafted into his complete body. And when he comes back, whoever is in that body is who he's coming for. He doesn't have to create a second body to inhabit. I don't even know what she's trying. I can't even make sense of it myself. I mean, you get grafted into something that ain't yours. And you have the nerve to stand up in front there with your dress and your screaming voice sounding like a shrill shriek demon from the marsh, and talking about how God can't come back yet because his body ain't complete. Like what? What? He gonna come back to half a body? And you got these idiots agreeing, yeah, yeah, because she's talking color. You see, I'm going to say some stuff today that might really piss some people off. And you know me, I don't care. You know, right? I don't care if your feelings get hurt. I don't care if you're mad at me. I don't care. I really don't. There's nothing, no level below where I'm at right now. I'm at the bottom of don't care. Okay. Because I think some of y'all need to be slapped upside the head. Okay. Um, if you believe that the body of Christ is color, you're a clown. If you believe that God is going to save you because of how you look, you're an entire fool. I don't even mean dummy. I mean fool in the full sense of the word fool. Brain dead dummy, moron, slow, inept. If you honestly believe that he shed blood and won a spiritual battle because of your skin, you are a straight up moron. And that goes for white or black or Asian or Hispanic, anybody who looks at Christ and think you special because you black or you white, it means that you're dumb. And there is no level of education that can bring you out of that stupidity because you put yourself there and you seem quite content to be there. Unfinished gospel. So let's break some stuff down real quick. She mentions black Jews and white Jews, and I'm still trying to figure out where in the book it made that separation. And I want to know how she might know what original Jews were. And if God ever addressed the Jews and picked them because he made them black. I want to just analyze how stupid it sounds to say what you're saying if you believe this mess, okay? Maybe I can get some intelligence up inside your head. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but I could try. You want me to believe that the book you say you follow made Adam and Eve, and from Adam and Eve came color that mattered more than bloodline. And if you came out shades different, regardless of your bloodline, that made you a certain thing. But you believe that we all came from one blood. But we're not from one blood. We're from different blood because of Esau and Jacob, who are of the same blood. But you say one was born white and one was born black. And God favored the black one. And because Esau was stronger, he took dominance over Jacob. And and so the rest of his lineage was all evil. And because God said, Jacob I've loved and Esau I've hated, not for the act, but totally. And so anything Esau did from then on was all cursed by God. And then uh, we were loved by God, but then we strayed from God multiple times, um, and continually did that. And then we went through a period of a punishment and a curse, and was still under the curse, to be enslaved by Esau's people. But then at the end time, Esau's people will become the footstool because God hates Esau. And Jesus was black because region, and I think I got that so far. And the only people that he will be saving are people that were black. Now, no mention of whether or not any black people that have any tinge of Esau in them will be saved. And I didn't know that God was in the business of doing DNA testing to make sure that you didn't have any Esau um, in you. But if he does do DNA testing, I dare say that very many of us are not going to be. There are tons of footstools and a whole lot less feet. Um, Not quite sure how it's going to work, but a lot of these Hebrew Israelite people and a lot of um, the woke people and the people like Miss Juanita Bynum somehow forego the blood and go straight to skin, and that's the one thing that really matters. It doesn't really matter what the sacrifice happened. No, no, that's irrelevant. It happened only so he could save the people that looked like him. Even when I tried to, even when I tried to make sense of it, I can't make sense of it. I can't. I guess when it was saying too that there's no Greek or Jew and all that stuff, that was okay. Everybody that does stuff like Juanita did, their main goal is not even for the people in that congregation. The benefit that they're seeking is not for them, it's for themselves. Juanita Bynum is a whore of Babylon, the same way that T.D. Jakes is a whoremonger of Babylon. Juanita not only exemplifies a Jezebel spirit, she is the reincarnation of Jezebel. And no, I don't believe in reincarnation. She chose a character out of the good book and she chose Jezebel. She figured that would be her best bet. She looks like her, you know. She dresses like her. She talks like her. She is her in all ways, shapes, and forms. All about the money. She lies. People might say that's too harsh of a criticism against a sister. She's not my sister. Nothing she says at all comes from the book. So, no, I can call her a fool because she's not my sister. TD Jakes is not my brother. I will speak ill of them all I want because they follow Satan. They do not follow God. They are hell raisers. So do not come into this room trying to tell me I should respect them. I do not respect them. I never will respect them. I will call them out and I call them what they are. Juanita is a Jezebel, and she's a whore of Babylon. Same thing with Paula White. All of those whores of Babylon. The problem here is that these whores are indeed taking people with them straight to hell. And some people are dumb enough to follow them because they refuse to let go of self and they refuse to let go of self identity and accept Christ's identity. You want to conflate everything. Everything has to be about color, everything has to be about race, everything. And then they go so far as to bringing in dimensions. They go so far as to try to touch the demon side of life to tell you that that's God. They will gladly welcome entities and demons and entertain them in the congregation and call it God. And there are people who will follow that because it tickles their ear. It's honey. The thing is that we have this inability to separate um, man made fame from godly fame. We equate popularity and church size with the Holy Spirit. We conflate the two. Figure if someone has a big following, the Spirit of God must be strong on that one. If that's the case, then Jay Z must have a really strong spiritual understanding. If that's the case, then so does Lizzo. So does Nicki Minaj. So does every Hollywood actor, because they have massive followings too. If numbers dictate truth, just because TD Jakes has millions upon millions of followers, let's just find out real quick. How many followers do you? Let's take a guess. I don't know, so I'm going to guess somewhere in the region of 1 million. Okay, I'm going to say 1 million. How many followers do you think that TD Jakes has on Twitter? Just a quick question. How many followers do you think TD Jakes has on Twitter? I'm gonna make a little experiment here and see exactly if I'm right. Anyone take want to take a guess? How many? No, no one's gonna guess. 3K. I'm not even close. I'm not even remotely close. I am not even remotely close, people. I hear 2 million. When you see this number, you might flip your wig. 4.6 million people listen to that sweating, obese, blasphemous mess. 4.6 million. 4.6 million. Following does not equate truth. It does not. Following just means you are telling people what they want to hear efficiently. It just means that you can tell everybody efficiently what they want to hear. 4.6 million. Numbers will always make you feel important, but it also gives other people the illusion that you are worth following, and they're not going to really listen to what you're saying. They're listening to the numbers. They're literally listening to your numbers. How many do you think Mr. Osteen has? Let's play a little game again. How many do you think Mr. Osteen has? Just take a gander. Just a little guess. If TD Jakes has 4.6 million, he's known. Mr. Osteen, Mr. Osteen has 10.1 million. That's almost, that's a third of 10% of the population of the United States. What? 10 million. When people try to tell me that the Bible is a lie or man messed with the Bible and all that stuff, you can think that all you want. Um, that's completely fine to think. But every day I look at humanity and then I read the book. I I see more truth in the book every day than I see in people. Okay. So, like, for instance, um, broad is the way that leads to destruction. Many find that one. Narrow is the way that leads to salvation, and very few find that one. So, so if very few find the narrow way and a whole lot find the broad way, What do those numbers tell you? What do those numbers tell you? Those numbers tell you that a lot of these people sincerely believe that they're on a narrow path when they're completely on the broad. The instant we stop looking to Christ and start making up our own realities, the more inclined we are to believe that what we have is of value. I saw recently this one Muslim guy using translations of Aramaic and Hebrew and all this stuff to say that the name Jesus Christ isn't um, translated right. It's literally translated into Allah, and that how God is Allah and Allah is God. And we just need to understand we need to be one and unify. And let me get that out the way for any Muslim that might be listening. Um, your entire religion, your entire religion is blasphemous. Everything about what you believe as a Muslim is trash. It's worthless, absolute trash. You possess no truth, none. You're a hateful religion. You follow a pedophile, and nothing about you is worth salvaging in terms of your religion. Okay, I don't listen to any Muslim talk. I don't want to hear you talk. It's like listening to Satan talk. It's like listening to nails on a chalkboard. Everything you say is stupid. I don't have to respect your religion because your religion is not religion. Your religion that you follow is Satan. And so I don't have to listen, nor do I have to respect it at all. Nothing about what you espouse will ever be respected by me. I don't have to have a conversation with Satan, and I will not have a conversation with Satan. I don't need to sit down with no Muslim. I don't need to hear what no Muslim has to say. I know exactly what you believe, so I don't care. And I'm not trying to convince you because if you want to follow a pedophile, follow a pedophile. But don't come no with no nonsense about how Allah is God and God is Allah. You can take that and put it where the sun don't shine because ain't nobody want to hear that mess. You and your stinking child bride nonsense. Same goes for the Seventh-day Adventists. Same thing goes for the Mormons. All of you are in the exact same bracket. And I will say it as proudly as I would saying that Jesus is Lord. I don't have any respect for any of your religions. None. Catholics, same thing. I know we all probably get used to people being nice and trying to sugarcoat stuff and placate and try and be your friend. I don't want to be your friend. This isn't about being friends. I don't want to be friends with the word. Why would I? Why? Why would I, knowing that what you push is a complete and utter lie towards the God of the universe, and try to be your friend? What purpose would that serve me? It just me being selfish. Let's just say I'm selfish. What purpose is there in me being friends with the world? No, no, no. My job is to tell you that you're living a lie and this is the truth. Take it or leave it. If you don't want it, go ahead and continue doing the crap you're doing. That's fine. Do what you got to do. But don't tell me I have to accept you as a friend or make nice with you. I don't. Actually, I'm supposed to do the complete opposite. The people that follow folks like Juanita Bynum, like Joel Osteen, like TD Jakes, are going to be in for quite a rude awakening. But it's going to be exponentially worse for those leaders because he warned about that. He says, "Do not lead my sheep astray. Woe to you who do that." That will be one ridiculous awakening for those people. A combined 14.7 million people listen to those two. I'd even want to put Kenneth Copeland up in there too. So let's get some numbers going because I consider them all the same. Let's find out. So far we are at, let's see. So we had 10.1, 4.6. Let's find out here. Kenneth Copeland. Okay, he's actually at the lowest I've ever seen, 642,000. Okay. Who's that other one? Paula White, right? Is the other one? Let's see Paula White. 1 million. Okay. Who's that other? There's another one. Creflo Dollar. That's right. Creflo Dollar. I don't think he'll be very high. I don't think he'll be up there, but I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I didn't think he was that big up there. Yeah, he's only at 854,000. Okay. There's another one. There were two more that I can think of. There was another female. And she looks like the Joker, but I forget her name. Help me out. Um, it's on the tip of my tongue. You know who I'm talking about, right? She has this weird smile, and it's like Joyce. What was her name? Joyce what? Mayer. Joyce Mayer. Yeah. Let's find out what Joyce has. 6.3 million. We'll do a calculation of all of these here in a minute. And then the last guy, Jesse. Let's see what Jesse's got. He only has 354,000. Now, mind you, this is only Twitter. Okay. So 10, 20, 21, 22, 20, 23.4 million. 23.4 million people. $23.4 million people. Wow. I want to put this in perspective for people. Just listen carefully. Just put this in perspective. Jesus moved around with 12, and he spoke to thousands at a time. He ended up with two around him, and he ended up with only one at the foot of the cross. I, I want you to get this perspective real quick. If this was a numbers game, he would have done numbers. He moved with 12 and ended up with only one at the foot of his cross. And here we have preachers of the word getting their worth in the amount of people that follow them and say they're being like Christ. People like John ended up being boiled in oil and exiled to obscurity. There are people like Peter who were crucified, Stephen who was stoned, countless ones ripped asunder, put in chains, hung, decapitated, burned. Yet these people have their value in the number, the highest possible number they can find of people to not just follow, but support them financially. The Word that became flesh and walked here died with one by his side. And you have man walking today that want millions and encourage millions to follow them. Not God, them. We ought to be like Christ, right? If you're going to be like Christ, you're going to be hated, not accepted. If you're like Christ, you'll be preaching the stuff that most people don't want to hear, not what everybody wants to hear. And your life will not be the way the world looks. The riches of God are not funds. The riches of God is his presence. The riches of God is not in opulence. The riches of God is in humility. These people do not want what God offers. They want what Jesus was tempted with. They want what Jesus was tempted with, not what he refused. If you want proof, I won't have time to do it all, but I'll let you go back and listen to any health and wealth and prosperity gospel artist you want. And tell me if you don't see the similarities with what he is going to say versus what the devil said. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights afterwards, he was hungry. Now, when the tempter came to him, he said, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones become bread." See, what the devil will do is make you try to prove something to him that God don't need to prove. The devil will always try to get you to prove something that he don't need to prove to the devil. Because the devil is always looking for some trivial market trick. Because he knows people will fall for that. The simple minded, the clown, the fool will fall for the very simple of magic tricks. Command the stones to be turned to bread. But Jesus answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds from the mouth of God, not from the mouth of a pastor, not from the mouth of a preacher, but from the mouth of God. Which is why he wants that relationship with you, not vicariously through a blasphemous piece of crap human being dressed up in black or white or a tux or a suit or sweating and wiping himself every 5 seconds or a fake plastic smile. He wants that relationship with you so he can put his word in you. Then the devil took him up into the holy city, set him on a pinnacle of the temple, and said to him, If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge over you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. The other thing the devil will do is try to create wonder and call it God. He will create wonder and call it God. The thing about it, again, God don't need to do more than he's already done to prove himself to anyone. He don't have to restore a withered arm. He don't have to recreate a leg. He don't have to raise people from the dead. He don't have to do nothing else. He has done everything he needed to do to prove himself to anyone. Jesus said, It is written again, you shall not tempt the Lord your God. And the devil took him up into exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, All these things I will give to you if you will fall and worship me. Now remember, this earth, this domain belongs to Satan. He commands things here. So do you really believe that your opulence is somehow proof of God? You think 5 jets and a $4.3 million home is a reflection of blessings? If 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 the devil went to Christ to tempt him with worldly possessions, are you really going to hinge your bets on the fact that you have stuff that's a blessing? Okay. And Jesus said to him, Away with you, Satan, for it is written, You shall worship the Lord your God, and him only you shall serve. Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him. Your blessing is on the way. Tell me if the things you hear when you go listen to them don't sound exactly like the devil talking to Jesus. You tell me. You make your own decision about it. Go listen to it. Go listen to how they talk. And you tell me if what you're hearing isn't exactly like the way the devil tempted Jesus. Go listen. All these things I will give you if you fall down and worship me. If you only give me your tithing, God will bless you beyond recognition. If you give, everything else will be given to you, shaken together and stirred and all that. the exact same, the exact same mantras that the devil used in trying to tempt Jesus, You have these mega churches preaching as though it's the norm. And in so doing, they persuade many to think that the gospel is about help financially, is about getting your upper hand in life, all about blessings, and they miss the blessing of Christ's life. To them, the kingdom is financial. And you'll hear them talking about it too. The transfer of inheritance and the wealth is coming on down, and the money is going to come rolling in, and your bills are going to get paid. And are bills my only concern? Look, I know God might be concerned that I make it in this world, but isn't the real goal here knowing Him, dependence on Him, full trust in Him? Will I fully trust God if I have everything? Or does my trust in Him become more exaggerated when I have no other choice? There's so many examples of people having and having and having and never being content. And then you'll find a homeless person with some gems to drop on you about what life really is about. Some of the wisest people you'll meet are homeless. Some of the most sane people you ever meet are crazy. There's a lot of people that will be like, you know, John the Baptist. We call them insane, but they have some of the tightest bonds with God. Now, can God bless you with plenty? He did. He did with Job. Solomon had plenty. David had plenty. Abraham had plenty. But what do you notice about those guys versus today's rich people? What is the main characteristic that they had that these today lack? There's a very important word, and the word is humility. They knew who they were before God. But in these people's world, they are everything before God. They are special before God. And they're so special that they get excluded from certain expectations. It's insane, but not far fetched, because it did say that the Lord of this world has blinded many. It told us that few will find true salvation. It told us that very few will come to the knowledge, because man's biggest problem is that they value themselves more than they value relationship with God. They value ease more than they value the burden of the gospel. They value people more than they value the individual relationship and the one-on-one time with God. They have become lovers of self. Everything that's listed about how men will become in the book, you can see right now in real time. in real time. And not a single one of them have any intentions of releasing the grift. Joel Osteen is making way too much money to let it go now. TD Jakes is making way too much money to let it go now. Juanita Bynum is making too much money to let it go now. All of them. Money has become God to them. And they've started to plant his name upon the devil and looking at what the devil is giving them and saying, see what God will do for you too. Just send me more of your money. Giving is the way. Or they'll tell you it's an unfinished gospel. And if you want more, I'm going to tell you something you don't know. I'm going to tell you something you didn't know before that only God told me and not you. I will give you this advice, okay? This is the only bit of advice you'll ever hear from me. Seek the Lord yourself. Do not lean on man. Seek God yourself. This walk is hard enough, people. This walk is not for the faint. This is not a sissy life. The Christian life is not for the weak. But seek God yourself. And at the end of it, you have to walk out your own salvation. You have to make everything and every stride in line with Him. And the only way you can do that is one on one. At the end of it all, you can't blame the preacher you followed. You will be the one held accountable for what you did. You can't blame the church. You can't blame your neighbor. You can't blame your mom. You have to make this decision. This is a personal thing. If it is that you have to sit down and war within yourself to find Him, war. War. If it means sweating profusely in this battle of trying to let something go to Him, do not leave until it's gone. We get so, I want to stop this. Okay. What do you do? I'll just wait, but I'll keep doing it in the meantime until it goes away. It means you don't want it gone. If you really see the need for something to leave because it's hampering your relationship with God, and the one thing you really, really want and need is that relationship, you will not leave the foot of the cross until it is gone. You will not stop warring with yourself until you release your own hold on what you want. You will not be content to just say, I need to, I really need to, and I really need to. No, if you know you really need to, you will war with yourself until you don't do it. You won't wait for time to just kind of limp by. If you are of the honest opinion that the thing you're doing is hampering your relationship and a deeper connection with God, you know what you would actually do? You would force and fight and scrounge and claw until every fiber of your being has agreed that it needs to stop. You will put in just as much work as the Spirit put forth. You will wage war against the flesh. And then you'll finally realize for yourself that it's a matter of just giving it over. And by meaning giving it over, meaning that you no longer have a desire for it because you have now seen the value of God. Once you have seen that, the rest of it has no pull. No pull. Because nothing compares to him. We don't want to let go. We don't want to let go of because we kind of like it. We have to admit that to ourselves, okay? So when he's asked you to shine a light, he shined a light on something that he wants gone. If you feel this, oh, I don't, man, that one, and you start making excuses, but that's my personality, or is that my? I get what you're saying. You see that though? I'm showing you. Get that needs to go. It needs to go. Once that's shown to you, you have to ask yourself, do I really love God? Because if I do, what he's asking me to give up does not compare to him. Well, you have to get there for yourself. We have to get there ourselves. And there is no way to get there halfway. There's no way to get there halfway. There's only one avenue for change, and that's the life exchanged. And if you can't exchange that life, you'll be running in circles. You will be running in circles. Veronica, let me ask you a favor. Let me ask you a sincere favor. Um, if what I say is of an offensive nature to you, you can take yourself and remove yourself from the room very easily and just not listen. I didn't even knew that was an option for you, but there's a real easy way to avoid blasphemous people if you consider them that. And that's by not listening to them. Or if you want, you can go create your own podcast and expose me. Those are your options, Veronica, at this point. I don't know why you hang around if what you really believe is what you believe, then why are you here? I don't get it. I, any of you that think what I'm saying is a lie, you can just leave. I don't want you caring about me. I really don't want your concern. I have no desire for your concern, especially your prayers. I don't want your care or concern. And I respectfully ask you that think like that, don't pray for me. I don't want your prayers because I don't know who you're praying to. I don't want your prayers. I don't want you uttering my name in any sort of seance or meditative state that you are. I don't want you doing anything like that with my name. Do not use it. Don't say it. Don't pray for me. Keep all your well wishes to yourself. I am quite content with what I know about God. Thank you, Veronica, for clearing that up. Because I caught two lines and I didn't know if you were directing it at me or the fool that you're talking about. Because I saw her. So I apologize, Veronica. So thank you. And you see how easy that was to just turn? Do you see how when you realize you're wrong, what you can do? You know why it's not difficult for me to respond with an apology? It's easy because when you're wrong, you're wrong. See how easy? It's really simple when you don't have any pride to fight with. And me saying I have no pride is not prideful. It's just factual. I don't need to have pride. And it's not even that I read it wrong. I jumped into the part of the conversation that didn't link up with the original part of the conversation. That was the issue. People, your relationship one on one with God is all that you need. Not a man telling you nothing, not me telling you nothing. I keep telling you where to go. If you hear me say something, I make sure to tell people where to go to get it clarified. And where is that place I keep telling you to go to get anything I say clarified? Do I say stay here? Okay, you know what? Ain't nobody asking you to follow Amanda. What the heck is wrong with you? You're looking for attention? Is your man not around? What? Tell us. Did he leave you for another man or a female? Which one was it, Amanda? Which one was it? I need to know. What did he leave you for? Hmm? What did he leave you for? Is life just so hard for you that you have to make everybody else's life as miserable as yours? Hmm? Oh, yeah, it does make sense. You're divorced. You see, I was right. You're divorced. That makes every sense. It makes all the sense in the world now. You consider everyone else your enemy because your man couldn't stay with you, because you couldn't be a proper wife. But just because you can't be a proper wife, don't mean you got to come in here and try and cause division. If you're unhappy and you like being unhappy, stay unhappy in your own corner. But ain't nobody asking you to come and listen to me. Ain't nobody asking for your 2 cents here. You decided to come and give it and then getting mad because nobody wants your 2 cents. I don't get how you're going to get mad if nobody wants to hear you. And if you don't want to hear me, why are you here? She said, where has anyone heard this? Has anyone said anything about this at all? You see, when your intention is for attention, you intentionally lead people astray. And Amanda is one of those broke people hateful people, wounded people that don't know how to operate in the sphere of people. Yes, indeed, Nancy, misery loves company. Probably because I'm attacking one of her gods. Probably because I'm attacking one of her gods. One of the people I mentioned are her god, and she's mad because I mentioned them. oh, oh, my word. I tell you. Just so you guys know who, I look, it's always correct. It's always correct. Every time he shows me and highlights something, even if it's through me having to apologize. This is the same person saying that I am leading people astray. Okay? This is what I say. This is Amanda, the God-fearing female. The all-seeing eye, a bunch of satanic symbols on her head and neck, but wants me to listen to her when it comes to God. Right? Right? Wow. She thinks I hate white people. I don't think the fool understands that my daughter is half white. I don't think that fool understands that I have white family members, that my father was half white. I don't think that fool understands anything about life, but thinks I hate white people. That fool doesn't understand that I live in an entire neighborhood full of white people. That fool doesn't understand a thing that she is saying. But it lends to the credence that I started off this whole thing about. When those fools listen to other fools, more fools are created. More fools are created every day because they listen to fools. And in the process of listening to fools, they follow blasphemous symbols by wearing it on their body. They will put on trinkets and satanic symbols and still think they can follow God that way. Because there are many out there that do the same. Juanita Bynum did it in that speech. Take the symbols of the world and call it godly, and you're in business. They will take the things of the world, tell you that it is godly. I am giving her attention for one very specific purpose, Nancy. And if you have followed me long enough, you understand that the people I give attention to are always object lessons, are always object lessons. They always become the very thing I talk about. The very topic, the very topic is what she became. She came in proving that the things you listen to that are not of God is what you will espouse later on in life. It's very crazy, but not unexpected. Not unexpected, like at all. But it's always a confirmation for me when those types of informational things pop up in the comment section. It's very telling. And there are more, there are way more people that think and act like that one because they follow who they follow and they listen to who they listen to. They do not want to have an actual relationship with God. They want to have it vicariously through some other entity known as a spiritual leader, known as a pastor. They're priest. They want to have a relationship with God vicariously. They want to live through somebody else. They want to live through somebody else and not through their own relationship. And then in turn, they want you to do the same. Because if they can live through somebody else, they can avoid dealing with their issue, which is why you can see them having that projective type of personalities because they're not dealing with self. They're not putting self to death. They listen to some other preacher say that they do it and they move with that. This is the danger of people like Juanita Bynum, TD Jakes. A gospel that tells you you are fine just as you are is not the gospel. But so she's kind of right in that it's an unfinished gospel because she ain't finished writing it the way she wants it yet. I just don't understand. Now, if there are any of you that think like she does, that thinks I hate white people, I've been accused of many things, but I don't think I've ever been accused of hating white people. I've been accused of loving white people too much. And I've been accused of hating black people, but I've never been accused of hating white people. That's a first. That's a first. My whole life I've been adult life I've been called an Uncle Tom, but I don't think I've ever been called a white person hater. That one's new. That one's real new. Hmm. You learn something new about yourself every day, I guess. I hate y'all white people. I mean, I'm sure that like 70% of my audience is white, so that's sad. I don't hate people necessarily. Necessarily. There are some. I mean, there are some people that I yeah, some. If you hate God, then I can't love you. I'm sorry, that's where we draw the line. If you ain't gonna make it in there, I don't see how. Just saying. In any case, If you know people that listen to these clowns, please point them to a relationship. Now, mind you, once you've done that, you don't have to do another thing. Either you trust God to do what He's going to do in His timing after you've done your part, which is to sow the seed. You've put it there. The only one that can bring the increase is Him. You do your job. You gain a relationship with Christ. You'd fight tooth and nail to keep in that union. You tell other people the good news about it and be done. You don't try to force feed, you don't try to coerce, and you don't try to over inundate them with information. You just put it out there. The truth, the simple matter is that Christ came to make a way for you to be back in good graces with God and be in His kingdom. And the only way for that to happen is for you to accept Him as your Lord and Savior. Case closed. I don't need to do anything more. I am not God. Everyone that follows Him is an arrow. Every one of us is simply a road sign. Every one of us is simply a directional instrument. We are not the destination. We are not the destination. You might be a catalyst for aiming somebody towards Christ. You might be one of the last stepping stones for them to turn and see Christ, but you are not their God and you are not their salvation. You are simply a directional tool. And you need to know who you're directing to so you can direct properly. So direct. And the only way you can do that is to for yourself have that relationship with God Himself. You have to have that. Otherwise, it's blind leading the blind. It's the blind leading the blind. Don't do that. You cannot go into that kingdom in your own life. You cannot have the relationship, the pure relationship in your own life. You cannot live God's life while holding on to your own. You must die. Die to self, die to the will, die to desires, die. Die. I made this analogy before, and again, I will thank Mr. Lonnie for this one. The cross is only big enough for you. The cross is only big enough for you to pass through. Consider it a TSA gate. You go in like this. It doesn't have room for your baggage. It doesn't have room for your past. It doesn't have room for your future. It only has room for you to pass through and leave everything that was behind. You don't get to go partially through and hold your hand on the other side of it and say, and I'm holding on. Man, oh, I'm holding on to this, and I'm always struggling with this. Let it go. Yeah, but I've had it for so. Let it go. Just let it go, and walk in a new life. Man, I fought so hard with this addiction and this problem. And did you take it to the cross? Yeah, but I still did. You take it and leave it at the foot of the cross? But what if, bro? Listen. We make this too difficult. Hear me out. If you say you're going to attempt to come to God, you have to come. You may not be coming to Him, by the way, if you still are holding on. Listen carefully. You have to already have known that He is worth it. You have to know He is worth it. And not only is He worth it, nothing else is even close. There is nothing of this earth that I want more than a relationship with God. And if something is tugging on me to pull me away from that, one of those things, one of them has to go. Either I let God go or I let go the thing that's pulling me. You only have two choices in this. It is the third option isn't dragging it with you as you follow God. That's not how this works. Because by dragging it along, you're telling God He's a liar and that He didn't die for that. And His blood isn't strong enough. And He doesn't have the keys. That's what you're telling Him. So decide. Decide now. If He's worth it, then nothing else will detract you. If He's not worth it, you're not following. It is really cut and dry. You don't need to complicate this. Following God is not some kind of a mathematical equation that you need to be a scholar to figure out. It is not some scientific equation. It's not calculus. It's not chemistry. It is rudimentary. It's like a four-piece puzzle where three pieces are put together already. It's a four-piece puzzle that three pieces are already put together. You just have to put that last one down. It'll only fit one location and it will complete the picture. You don't need to start filling and turning around and trying to adjust. It fits one way. So ask yourself, is Christ worth it? Is He enough? If you were to lose everything tomorrow and you still had Christ, would it be enough? If you were to be given the worst diagnoses ever, but you had Christ, would it be enough? Thank you, DJ. Would it be enough? Because I don't think we really believe it's enough. And that's an unfortunate thing. I'm pretty sure I've told you guys the story of Jessica Moreland. And when I told you the story of Jessica, maybe some of you understood, maybe some of you didn't. But Jessica was more than just a friend to our family and stuff, and we didn't know them extremely long. But when God is your bonding agent, you get to know people quickly and efficiently because you know the same person. And that's whose life you exemplify because you, you live it. And if I ever were to point to anyone that I have ever known that exemplified not holding on to self, it would be that family. Why? It wasn't that they were so super spiritual and so amazing with their ability to hold. No, they did not consider Christ expendable, replaceable. None of those things applied to God in their world. He was not replaceable, he was not expendable. And so I think it's only fitting because the words of their song that they wrote is just amazing. And I just want you guys to listen to it real quick. It's still up on my page because if he is not enough, he needs to become enough. He needs to become enough. You have to decide today or at some point that he's enough. But since you don't know when you will exit this world, you might want to make it sooner than later. You might want to make it sooner than later. This journey is hard enough. It's hard enough. Oh, they walked it and they still do. Her husband is look, I mean, he's hurting. Okay, let's just be honest. It was his that was his bride. But the thing that I really appreciate the most about their relationship with God is that it exemplified putting God first in everything. Everything. I will put a link to her video down here. And if you haven't subbed to the channel yet, you can do it through that link. But I'm going to end by playing their song um, because the words are completely true. Because they wrote it from a location where they saw all they had and all that they needed was Christ. The gospel is not unfinished. Christ is the fulfillment of everything that was ever spoken about in the past to the point where he died, and he died for everything coming after. There is no unfinished business in the gospel. The only thing unfinished is the demise of Satan, and even that's done. And our transition from these fleshly housings to eternal life with him. That's the only unfinished. So instead of my usual ending, just have you listen to this. Wisdom calls to you from the streets. please, please find wisdom.
just the same. You're true.